What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Built This, where we talk with entrepreneurs and creatives about projects they're working on. I'm your host, Ryan Cheek, and I am super stoked to introduce one of my best friends for the last 20 years, an entrepreneur, John Shute. John, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Cool. So, John, tell everyone a little bit about what you do and PufCreativ.
So I do marketing mainly for cannabis companies, which is pretty interesting.
And you're the CEO?
CEO.
All right, nice. And how old are you?
I am 34. Yeah, 34.
All right, and where are you from?
Sweetwater, New Jersey.
Nice. Big town?
Small town.
All right. Where do you live now, and how long you been there?
I live in Netherland, Colorado, and I've been there for only a year, but I've been in Colorado for 9 years.
9 years,
Yeah.
All right. So is Netherland a big town?
Netherland is not a big town either. It's kind of a small town.
Nice. But you were in Denver for a while?
I was in Denver for like 7 years.
Okay, nice. And when did you start PufCreativ?
8.5 years ago.
Okay, so basically around the time when you moved.
Yeah, right after I moved to Denver.
Okay, and so is Denver a good spot for the cannabis marketing world?
Denver is a good spot, I feel like, to get started because Colorado is such a, cannabis hub, I guess you'd say. It's like one of the first states that went medical and recreational. But it's a pretty tough market because it's been around for a while. So I work in mainly other states, which is pretty interesting. But I have a few really solid Colorado clients. And funny enough, I actually have more psychedelics clients in Colorado than I do cannabis clients.
Okay, and is that because maybe less people are doing that type of marketing, or it's a little more open there to do that type of business?
No, it's like in very mature markets, either two things happen, like just a lot of bigger companies take over, and there's a lot of price compression and a lot of change in different companies buying other companies. So we had a lot of Colorado clients. A lot of them got sold to other companies who had marketing teams. So there's been a lot of turnover, but things have settled down there with cannabis. So we're starting to pick business back up there. But most of our clients, funny enough, are in Michigan, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York now, because they're all like just more emerging markets.
Okay. So do the established, an established larger company, do they do their own marketing? Is that why? Or they just use a larger firm?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix. Like the biggest ones usually have a full in-house marketing team, whereas other ones piece together like 4 or 5 different agencies that work on like a variety of different facets. But yeah, more times than not, they have their own in-house team.
Okay.
Even some smaller companies try to have an in-house team. But what's funny is that, in my opinion, I think with the way cannabis is, just having an in-house team isn't sustainable. Like you have to have a lot of experience in the industry. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of ways to make money faster than hiring someone to do your marketing full time who has no industry experience.
Because they're just hiring someone with a marketing degree, but that's a lot different than cannabis specific.
Yeah. So I also think it's good because agencies have the ability to hire someone with a marketing degree and take them through like a formal training to learn the ins and outs of the cannabis industry.
Gotcha.
So that's where we're at as an agency. It's like hiring people who are like maybe better marketers in a certain niche, like SEO or social media, but giving them our expertise on like the do's and don'ts of like, what's going to get you flagged, what's going to get your accounts taken down, what's going to actually rank someone on the first page of Google faster. There's all these like really weird nuances to it.
Gotcha. And who did you start the company with?
I started a company with my business partner Seamus and another friend Katie.
Okay. And so you're with Seamus right now?
Yeah.
So how do you guys work together? Like, does he work on one side of it? Do you work on the other? How do you guys split that up?
Yeah, it's been an evolution. Like up until recently, he and I were really just like managing projects, actually like executing work. I was doing sales. He's helping with, invoicing and things like that. But now we're at the point where he's taken more of like a creative director role, and I've taken more of like sales, business development, trying to be a real CEO, but we both still have our hands in probably too much stuff, but we have people that actually like help us now, which is like really nice.
Gotcha. Will you ever not have your hands in too much stuff? Or is that just how it goes?
I hope so. But yeah, it's kind of just par for the course, I think.
And so what, I mean, just kind of a quick answer, but so everyone can know, what type of services do you guys offer today?
Yeah, so our angle in the cannabis industry is not only that we've been in it for a while, and we work in, like I mentioned, psychedelics, hemp. We have some non-cannabis clients, some like even like alcohol clients, and weird industries. But cannabis is probably our main revenue stream, and our big angle there is that we have a whole creative side to the agency, and we have a whole performance side of the agency. And so we do things like logo design, packaging design, brand identities, brand books. And then we do custom website design development. So most of the brands that we're building, we're making a site for them, usually on WordPress. A lot of Shopify sites for products that are D2C, direct to consumer. And then we also do performance marketing. So the websites bridge the gap between the creative and the performance, because you need a good website to have a good conversion rate for ad spend and SEO spend. So we do performance marketing like SEO, search engine optimization, and now there's a huge emphasis on AI search because everyone's using AI for search now. Advertising, so like Google, Facebook, TikTok, Reddit, Pinterest. It's really tricky to get ads to go through on those platforms. So because we've been in the industry so long, we have like very safe practices that can actually be effective and trackable. And then we also do customer retention. So a lot of email marketing, SMS marketing for people's loyalty programs. And those are the three that really kind of drive revenue. But we do a lot of complementary services like just organic social media marketing, some PR, graphic design, photo, video, animation. And those, I think, complement the performance side of the marketing like very well. So
you can really, that sounds like you handle a lot. Do you have a favorite
service?
Yeah.
So my favorite part is like when we're actually able to like get someone from like just an idea all the way to they're like crushing it. That's like my favorite.
So usually that kind of encompasses at least a couple different services.
Yeah. So I really like the branding projects, and it's like it hurts me a little bit like not being involved, because I kind of enjoy learning about people's stories and like tying that together with like how they're going to position themselves, what the brand's going to look like, how it's going to be super disruptive and like actually move the needle. But I really enjoy the SEO side of it too, because we don't really do like outbound sales or anything like that. It's all just been organic search. Now we've been running tests on AI, so we're seeing that we're getting leads from ChatGPT and different LLMs. And then so I really like the search side of it too, because it's just always changing, and like I really love putting out content that's like people who are my target demographic would actually like really enjoy it.
Nice.
Like I always like constantly am like I write or at least come up with so many different blog outlines and ideas, because it's like, how can I solve this problem that I have by like writing a blog that now I'm going to rank for it and make money off me solving a problem. And then it's like you're in situations with clients or leads where it's like, hey, read this blog, because this is going to answer your question and like make you a better client.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, I was going to get into that later, but I'll go into that now. What's it like marketing a marketing company?
Yeah, real interesting. I think it's an interesting question because I feel like my perspective on marketing my marketing company has always been different than like most of my competitors and probably just most in general. I think we're actually about to launch like a new site. We haven't redid our site since 2020 or 2021. So new site, new branding, like all this new stuff.
But that would be in-house. You have to sit down and say, okay, instead of a client, we're going to work on.
So we have our whole team like hands on deck. That it kind of team working it.
Is that harder than working on an actual client?
Yeah, because you have to balance your normal workload and then like tackle this thing, and it has to be on point because like you're a marketing company.
Yeah.
So like you can't fuck that up.
Yeah.
So it's funny I've done the past 2 launches for our marketing myself, and I used to manage a lot of the social, and the only thing I really do now is like I still write a lot of content. Like that's why we rank so well. It's like I've always written content since year 1.
Okay. That's
something that a lot of people don't do, that they're missing out on.
Because it takes time.
Yeah, like people when they think of marketing think of like, in my opinion, like ego-driven marketing, and when you really have to establish a foundation. If you're not a celebrity, or if you're not someone who like just went viral, or you have to work pretty hard to like actually like rank on Google. Like everyone's like, oh, I'll be on the first page. It's like, yeah, like if you're in a competitive market, like that's tough. So like you gotta like be pumping out content, because all my competitors, they come from companies that have investors, and also companies that they're all older than we are. So like they came in and just like made all of these decisions because it's like from past agency experience. Like we came in and just like been, winging it, and just have learned all the right lessons, and just like have met the right people, and like really found our niche. But
nice. What's a typical day like as CEO?
Honestly, man, I hate to say it, but I just do a lot of yapping. I just am talking like, all the time.
What time?
I have 2 kids, so it's a balance of like, I need to try to take care of myself. I also need to be a good father and husband, but like, I also see the opportunity that's in front of me. So it's like, what do you do to like balance all of that? Because if you really are trying to like be an entrepreneur, it's gnarly. Like you really have to put the time in. Like, so I'm putting in like, Monday through Friday, like 9 to 10 hour days, pretty much every day.
And do you have a set turnoff time, or is it just
unfortunately I don't, because I have children. So most of my my calls and stuff are all day. So it's like I try to get stuff done.
And those are all scheduled.
A lot of them are scheduled, but stuff always happens. Okay. Like, stuff goes wrong. Like you have 100 clients, you have 30 or so people working for you. Like every day something's gonna go wrong. So random calls come in. Some people have my number. Try not to give it out. It's hard. So always something's going on, but like it's a mix of team calls. So like I talk to my executive team, I talk to like my project managers, I check in with my directors, I talk to Seamus, as much as I can, like one-on-one. But then I have a ton of random client calls of like dealing with some bullshit, someone's not happy, someone doesn't understand something. Then it's sales and business development. So people I met at events I was speaking at, people who I got introduced to from years of like partnerships I've been putting in place. I talk to a lot of partners. Those relationships are like huge. I'm on podcasts. Then it's like planning for events. So it's just constant talking. It's just nonstop. Literally, I'll probably start talking at like 9, and then I'll try to stop around like 4. And then try to get back on like 10 to like midnight. So it's just a grind. But that being said, like, you know, I make breakfast for my family every day, like in between that session of like the day work and night work. Like I take my kids to the skate park, like I work out, you know, before I work again. So I work out every day. I like get outside with my kids every day, make sure that they're like fed and stoked, but it's just constant movement. It's nice. so nice. If I didn't have children, it'd be nice because like I could like shut off, but it's like because I have that layer, it's like I don't have a choice because I could shut off, but then it's like, you know, we're like thinking about going global right now, so that's just a whole nother grind because different time zones, you know, like a lot of the people I talk to now are in Central European Standard Time, so that's like I think it's like 8 hours ahead of Colorado and 6 ahead of here, so it's just, it throws off. I'm like, now I'm up at 5. Then I start to work. They're like, it's like it's so gnarly, but totally worth it.
Nice.
I feel motivated still. So I feel like that's just like the biggest factor. It's
nice.
like, if you're not motivated, like you're kind of screwed if you're trying to run, like be an entrepreneur. It's just hard.
Cool. So you got a master's degree in project management. Were you always a serious student? Was there a turning point where you decided, hey, I'm really going to go after this and get a master's degree?
No, I mean, honestly, it's why I chose to get a master's degree is pretty silly, to be honest with you. So when I graduated college, my wife went to law school, or not my wife at the time, it was my girlfriend, now wife, mother of my children, but she went to law school, and that first year she was in law school, I just snowboarded every day, and I worked like a Caribbean restaurant. But I hung out with lawyers all the time, you know, like I was just like snowboarding and drinking with like all these lawyers. So that was just, I kind of was like, felt, you know, I was like, I feel like I'm not doing anything in my life. Like these guys are all going to be attorneys, you know, and I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. And I started telling them that, and they're like, don't. Like, they're just like, dude, don't. Like, and so it's funny enough, my sister-in-law, she, her and her father got master's degrees from this school in Vermont where my wife was in law school. And I was like telling her about how I felt, and she was like, you should do like this, the school me and my dad went to, they do this online master's degree now. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. That sounds cool. Like I can still work and like do my thing, like snowboard and do activities and like just do it online. And it's so funny because like that's why I did it, because I literally felt weird being around lawyers and like not like, I was like, yeah, like I work at a Caribbean restaurant and like I have 100 days a season, you know? And what's crazy is that I remember getting judged, like, but for like certain friends and family were like, oh, like online masters in project management, and like, you know, best decision I ever made. That's all I do now. And the same thing when I started the agency, like, you know, like I think both my mom and my mother-in-law are like, you know, it was like with a group of family, and they all kind of like, you know, snickered. They were like, oh, you're going to start a cannabis marketing agency. And it was like right when I was about to get married, because the job I had, it was like a month before my wedding. I was planning on getting a full-time salary and health benefits from this cannabis contract manufacturer in California. And something happened with the owners, and they were just like, yeah, dude, like we can't do this for you anymore. And that's how PufCreativ started. So it was like a month before I got married. I was like, yeah, I'm starting a cannabis marketing agency. And so, yeah, like both times that I was kind of like, I felt like laughed at for like a decision I made, it's like, those were the best two decisions I've made. So it's kind of funny how that works.
And so, I mean, because the master's degree was online, so you had to have this structure of dealing with people remotely, dealing with projects remotely. Yeah. And that's literally what you do right now. It's
literally all I do. It's it. Yeah, I set up all the original project management systems for my team. It's one of the most important keeping things on time within budget and the quality still there and the client happy. That's it. That's all I do. So and it's really cool because during my project management, education, most of the teachers and most of the curriculum was based off like NASA and like really high level like architectural projects and like science. It was just like really deep project management, and I remember thinking at the time like, man, this stuff's so cool, but I don't know how I'd actually like really apply this. And now like when I like where we're at with project management and how deep we track everything, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like these are the things I questioned when I was like going through that degree, and it's like here I am like as dialed in as these guys were with like these NASA projects that we were learning about.
Nice. So, and I feel like a lot of times, especially online, you hear about people saying, oh, college isn't worth it from entrepreneurs, or oh, that's dumb or a waste of money. But it sounds like it was really worth it for you and literally helped create your business.
Yeah, I feel like that statement that people making about college, I think it's dependent on like the person. So like I feel some people, from a really young age, it's just like, yo, that's what I'm gonna do, and that's the path they choose. And so like getting dialed in with college and that path early on makes sense. Other people like myself, I like jack of all trades, like master of none, or whatever that saying is. And so, I feel like I needed to, like my bachelor's degree, was my college experience worth it? And did I learn a lot in a lot of the classes I took? Yeah. But my master's degree was what really was relevant to like where I'm at now. Okay. I don't know if everyone else can say the same thing. That's what's interesting. Like I feel like I don't know if it was like luck or what, but I just happened to roll right into that. But at the same time, it makes sense because like we're in 2025 and like so much is online, and even if I wasn't doing cannabis marketing, like I could apply project management to really anything, and you'd make a company more money because it'd work more efficiently and people would be happier.
Yeah, makes sense. And so going back to when you were talking about family members and you're getting ready to start a family, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to start a cannabis marketing agency, which I don't know anyone else that does, and I'm sure they don't either. But you also walked away from a family business as well, or not walked away, but most people were probably expecting you to go that route and probably make a lot of money right away. What were those conversations like within your family, with yourself, with your wife, and what really was the turning point where you said, you know what, I'm going to start this on my own?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another spot where, super lucky. Like parents, my dad came from absolutely nothing and ended up falling into nightlife and the service industry, and he was super successful. And he was trying to get me to like help him and his partners out, still super tight with everyone. And I actually was down there helping them, but I wasn't really fulfilled doing what I was doing for them. So another thing, very grateful for, my parents always just were like, do what feels right. So they just were supportive. I was super nervous to have those conversations with them, and I think my dad maybe push back, but I felt that his pushback was strategic. Like it was like to gut check me to make sure that, he made sure that I was making this hard decision.
And really thought it through.
Yeah. And maybe I didn't, I don't know.
I mean, you can't think it all the way through.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't know, my wife's, I think, way smarter than I am. So I was surprised. Not surprised, but grateful and just really grateful that she like kind of went with the flow on like all the decisions I made too. Because it's like you're about to like marry someone, have children with someone, and I'm like, running my own company, and like we didn't like it's been 8.5 years, but I mean it took 5 years to start making money to live off of, and like, it's been a grind, and still is, even more so than then, but just different type of grind. Before it was a grind just to like, make a quick buck. Now it's a grind to like feed families that I'm responsible for now.
Absolutely.
And so you have to make some pretty tough decisions because there's a lot of people that rely on me. So.
Yeah. And so, 8 years in, do you pay yourself a salary, or do you kind of see what's left over at the end?
So that's a good question. So like, we're actually changing our entire financial strategy now that we've literally overhauled like all of our internal project management and CRM and time tracking into one system this year. We switched our bank accounts because our bank account got shut down because we're out of nowhere after, and then
for cannabis.
Yeah. Just I was like a client of this bank for like 30 years, my whole life. And then so switch bank, new website, new services. So yeah, we're in the middle of like about to bring on the new financial team actually. So we've been paying salary and distributions like kind of balanced each month for the past couple of years because we're an S corp. But now we're going to be switching to just higher salary and then distributions based off what we're making quarterly. Nice. So yeah, we might also we potentially, depending on how this week goes, we could be merging with a smaller company. So that will just impact our operating agreement and just another piece of the financial strategy. So it's interesting time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so the same thing with like a marketing or advertising budget. Is that something that's, a set percentage or something, or is that again something that comes at the end when you say, okay, we have this much left over?
For us, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, it's more time on our marketing than like money. But the
content and
the money goes into events.
Gotcha.
So like sponsoring events or like doing our own events, and like that's kind of based off of like real time money, like, or money we can set aside in advance. Like we're planning for an event like in December right now, and like have money set aside for it. But I just booked Berlin again for next April.
Okay.
And so like it's hard to even tell you because our strategy is always changing with that stuff. But we do pretty well. Like we have a pretty big margin for the most part each month. But the problem is that out of nowhere you get hit with like crazy expenses. Like you'll find yourself in legal situations. You'll find yourself in getting fined for something, or random client drops that was a $20,000 client, and now you're just so it's just like you can plan for that stuff, but it's tough. Most of the events you can get a solid ROI on if you go into it with a strategy, but that's where I kind of shine. Like we actually never had a booth at an event. We sponsored events, done our own events, but I never had like a booth at a conference until like maybe a month ago. Okay. But now we're about to do it because we did it so well the first time, and so now we're going to like mimic it at different conferences.
Okay. And do you think that other agencies will make a mistake by maybe spending too much on things like that, or what is like a common mistake you see a lot of agencies make?
Yeah, I think agencies can probably maybe spend too much time on certain conferences. It depends. I can see agencies wasting like advertising dollars. I can see agencies wasting time. Like in cannabis, you can waste a lot of time on social media. Okay. Because it's like there's companies out there who make a ton of money off their organic social following, like not paid ads. They have a really dope profile. But in cannabis, you can get shut down or your account gets shadow banned. You don't have reach. So I see people really extending themselves, and it's like you just don't have like the money to like really get yourself over the edge, or the time, or like that quality content that's going to do it. So,
and if they spend maybe a little too much time on social, is that because it's an ego thing where they want the brands to look cooler to the public?
Yeah, I think so, and that might I've been saying that more often, like speaking, but I feel like I'm really trying to hit home with people in alternative wellness industries like cannabis and psychedelics, because like there's certain things that actually like move the needle. So it's like you need social media, but it's just, in my opinion, for a lot of these companies, it's a tool that complements these other channels.
Gotcha.
Rather than like your end all be all.
The only thing.
Yeah, so for example, like we have a client I'm friends with, really cool husband and wife, kind of bending over backwards for them right now, just because like I've just known them for so long. They said they're struggling, but they reached out and they're like, we want to, we're gonna have to, cut the service. Can we just go to your hosting program? We need some time. Like they said we don't have enough time to like communicate with you guys, right? And I was like, okay. So I sent them a screenshot. I was like, I'm just gonna show you the way I look at this because you're my friends, but like, so 77% of your website traffic is for the service that you're paying me for. 77%, and you're saying that you're struggling, but you don't have time to talk to my team who's responsible for 77% of your overall website traffic. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're not.
Let me fix more of your problems. And so, but that's the thing with, they spend a lot of time on social and a lot of time at events. And I think it's definitely good that they do that. But like, sometimes you need to reprioritize your time and budget just a little bit to look at the data and be like, okay, this is actually working. Like, we're actually making money off this.
Yeah.
Because some people, like, you just feel like, we're making you a bunch of money. Like, what's the problem? And that doesn't matter for people. They'll just, oh, no, I'm on my Instagram. It's like, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. So how often does something like that happen where you're thinking that you're doing them a good service, but it's like, that's got to be frustrating, right? This is working. What we're doing is working. And
yeah, it happens more times than not in cannabis, is because there's a lot of folks who are not seasoned business owners.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot of people who are pretty reasonable and logical. So more times than not, we show people, like, we just get real with them, and then they're like, oh wow, like I didn't realize this. Like I should have been looking at this. I didn't realize the value you guys were. And so sometimes it just takes that, like, come to reality moment. Other times people will leave, but we've had a lot of people come back, which I think is my favorite. That's because cool. I love being like, told you, I wasn't lying.
Well, it's tough, right? Because it's a service that you can only use one person at a time.
Yeah.
And if you have nothing to base it off of, then it's nice when you get the people back.
Totally. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that feels so good. And it's been happening like more so than not.
Cool.
Yeah, there's actually this dispensary in Jersey. This guy reached out years ago, and I was like, oh, like, who else are you talking to? And he's like, oh, I'm talking to these other two agencies. I'm like, oh, they're pretty solid, but like for what you need, like, and what you're looking for, like, we offer more than they do. So like, we'll be able to actually get you to that level that you want. So he, chose another one, reached out a year later and was like, I should have went with you. But then he still chose another agency. And I was like, it's all good, man. I'll talk to you in a year, joking. Almost to the date. Hey man, me again. Should have went with you the first two times. And then we just signed them like a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. I love those moments. Like, that's my favorite. And I just try to be pretty real with people, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. Like, branding can be tough. Like,
there's a lot of factors, right?
There is. It's a relationship, and especially with so on the creative side, it's a battle of like, people have like a very particular like vision or vibe, and sometimes if you just like don't hit it the first time, or you do something that turns them off, you'll never please them.
Gotcha.
The performance side is just an educational thing. Like, a lot of people don't realize the true value of like what they're investing in, which is a funny thing to say, but that's the world we live in, I think.
Makes sense. Let's talk employees.
Mm-hmm.
How many employees versus, do you use contractors?
Yeah.
So how many employees versus contractors?
We probably are like 70-30 employees.
Okay.
We try to convert contractors to employ like full time every now and then, but full time it's expensive. But it's like I'd rather sometimes like you just need people to be full time for certain things because it's like you have so much stuff you need to get done.
How many have been converted? Not a number, but maybe percentage-wise.
Probably like 40 or actually no, probably like 40 or 50% of the full timers have been converted from contractors.
And that's a nice way for you both to try each other out. Almost.
We prefer that. It's better for everyone that way. But there's some services that like grow faster than others, so like we have to like hire on the spot. And recently we fell into a situation where like that actually didn't work out for us, but
hire on the spot.
Yeah. Like it's just like this dude is super cool and like talked a really big game. But then, like, when it came down to the work, we were just like, dude, like, what?
So it was just the work, basically.
Yeah, it was just like getting stuff done at the velocity and quality that they said they could. It just wasn't that.
And how do you know when it's time to make a decision?
Fortunately for this, we were actually gonna fire this guy because we just had, I have like a fractional HR department. So like we've had like 3 or 4 like formal check-ins with like constructive criticism and feedback and goals and guidance, and like my director is like talking to this guy all the time trying to help him. And when you waste enough time and energy and check-ins and you're just still the same mistakes are being made, like we're pretty reasonable. Like we haven't really fired that many people in 8.5 years. Like maybe 2 people, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I think maybe 1. Yeah,
wow.
Maybe 2 or 2. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Like maybe I've like told a few contractors like we didn't need them anymore, but like actually fired someone, I think it's maybe 2. And the real thing for me is like it doesn't take much for me to like be like, okay, you're improving, like we can make this work. It's like when you're impacting like the culture of the company. And you're like just really missing deadlines because like it's just like all we work off is deadlines.
So it's a little mix. It's the results and the culture.
And it's exactly. Those are the 2 biggest factors because we just don't have a choice. Like if you're just gonna continue to miss and say you're not going to and then you still do, it's like,
well, if you don't do anything, it rubs off on other people too. That guy didn't do anything. I can not do it either.
Totally, and that's literally anyone that we've really had an issue with. That's kind of what it was. Just like we just like they're killing the vibe, and also like it's a bad influence on like everyone.
Makes sense.
Because we are like nice, like super, like we really care about our staff. Like we do monthly stipends for like their phone bill and like equipment every year if they want to buy new computers and like healthcare, and like we're about to start doing 401ks, and like that's where Seamus and I spend a lot of time on is like research into like what's a formal way to like keep driving motivation and like helping your staff like succeed, because you need people to care in order to produce good work. Like
that's the business, right?
Yeah,
is the employees.
Yeah, and if they're not stoked and the clients aren't stoked, and then it's like you need to keep that culture. So yeah, it's really basic science that I wish our whole society is just like be a nice and reasonable person. And
easier said than done.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
So when you are first starting to talk with a new brand that you might work with, how can you spot some red flags? What throws you off right away that's like, you know what, we're probably not going to be a good fit?
I can give you like an example. Like, one, it's like we don't have that much money. That's like that's usually a red flag.
But do people think that, or do they say that, or?
No.
Like doesn't everyone not want to spend money at first on it?
No, it's funny. Like some people actually are smart and like know what branding and marketing means
and costs.
Yeah. Okay. So like they don't go into a conversation like they want the relationship to be good. So like they want to spend money. They want you to crush it. But people who usually say it, those, like, I'd say more so than not, I've been in weird situations with those people after the fact when they say that first.
Other than money, what's a red flag?
Yeah, I mean, that's just one that comes to mind because it's funny because like we're always like, so they said it.
Yeah.
Like, well, like, is it like, what do we think? And then that depends on like who they are and like what are they trying to accomplish, There's certain people that would say they don't have money, but like I know what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, like, well, how much money do you have? Like, what's your budget? And then they're like, it's $5,000 a month. I'm like, great. If we did this, this, and this for that budget, we actually would move the needle. But if someone comes in, they're like, we don't have enough budget, then it's like, well, I don't want to work with you because like, what if it takes a little longer, or like, something goes wrong and you didn't plan for it? Like that ruins. So that it's a big thing to think about. Like it really. So, but the other thing is like people will show red flags with just like, I'm a tough critic. People will like warn you, and then like sometimes you're like, oh, haha. But then you're like, but now I'm like, I listen. I'm like, oh, like they did, say that they're a tough critic. So like, do we really want to do a branding project with them?
What about cannabis experience? Do you judge someone, or not judge someone, but is someone who's never been in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, that's someone who's going to be way more difficult because they don't understand the value of like a lot of things that like you're probably telling them, or how valuable your experience is because like they're new, or their lack of knowledge of like just the business they're getting into. Because the thing with like the problem is like people make a bunch of mistakes. And so then it's, when it comes to money, people are like, who do they point the finger at? And it's usually expenses. So who's usually a big expense? Usually I am. So it's like, you're doing something wrong because I want to pay you less, or like get out of our contract or something. But fortunately, like, again, like those people forget that like I'm tracking all of their data. So it's like, hey, like, can I see more of your data? Because I think that you have an inventory problem. I don't think it's actually me.
And when it's an inventory problem or a financial problem, I mean, is that something you can help them with, or does that frustrate you to think, okay, well, it's not on my end, it's on your other end?
It's frustrating when like they actually will end their relationship, right? So if it is an inventory problem or a financial problem, I can help them because I have partners who I've vetted over the years. So that's, again, the partnership thing is just huge because I know the pain points of people. Like I see why most businesses fail. So I've developed partnerships to solve those problems so I can keep my contracts going.
Makes sense.
So yeah, inventory for like a dispensary is like usually the problem.
Okay.
Because think about it this way, right? So there's a couple dispensaries in Mays Landing here. It's like 2 or 3, right? So the one closest to you, say you always buy a Blue Dream vape from them, right? And then one day you go online, oh, they're out of it. Man, I really want that Blue Dream vape. And then you go on Google and you type in Blue Dream vape near me. And then the other guys down the other way, they pop up. So you order online, you go there. But those guys got you to sign up for their loyalty program. And now you're getting text messages and emails from them with like 30% off all the time. Those guys just lost you. So because they run out of inventory.
Gotcha.
The other thing is that people will have $200,000 of inventory still on the shelf for 2 years. Or like they'll run a special on it because it's been sitting there, but then they didn't calculate that they're losing money on every special. So there's just the inventory thing's like huge for like a retailer, but the financial strategy too, you like both really big things because there's a lot of interesting tax situations that you're in as like a cannabis operator and different approaches that you can take to deal with those situations that really can be lucrative to a business. And for me, if someone can get their inventory and their money right, then they can actually have a budget for marketing to really move the needle.
But most of the time, they'd rather just point the finger at you.
Yeah, that happens, yeah. And it's just, I try to again, like I'll ask, that's the first things I usually ask is just like, hey, like my data says this and it says that I'm getting you this much of an ROI. Like, what's your ROI on the other spends that you're getting? And like, who manages your inventory? Yeah. And like, who does your books? And then usually that leads to a problem that I find.
Gotcha.
So, but it's just a waste of my time. So that's why I try to just like, I have systems to help we're even building systems to help identify their other problems sooner, like in our sales process and stuff. So.
Makes sense. Have you ever had a good paying client that maybe just crossed the line or was too big of a headache that you just had to walk away from?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Plenty of times.
Yeah. Yeah, more so than not, actually.
Just them being annoying or them literally crossing a line? Or
Yeah, like we've had some people just like cross lines with like staff on calls.
Be disrespectful.
Very disrespectful, and just like we just don't do that, you know? Yeah. So there's been situations where that's happened and we've threatened to leave and then like that person's gotten fired, and so then like maybe we'll give them a second chance if like maybe our employee's down, but there's been plenty of times that we've just like walked away because it's just not worth it. Yeah, because it hurts. Because you think when you start like really looking at time being spent, like you can just waste so much time like just dealing with people's bullshit. Yep. You know, it's just a drain suck. Like,
on the other end, what type of client? Who's that 10% of clients that just really energize you, that you really love working with?
Oh man, they're just like super appreciative and like they just get it.
Compliments.
Yeah, they're just again, it's just like it's very basic human like elements of life, but other people who just like actually look at like the stuff that we're sending them. It's so silly to say because like you're paying us for this, like you should try to understand it or like really put the time in. But yeah, like people who like really participate and like really see like what we're working on, like how it moves the needle, because we're making people money. So yeah, just people who are polite, you know, it's like crazy that that's what I'm saying, but
it is funny.